Righty, morning. What's ever up? Up. We've got, see if we can get everything put into view here. Hey, good morning, everybody. Steve here, and today it is Monday here in Korea. Yes, I retired in Korea. Wife and I, we sold everything in the United States, put some stuff in a couple of suitcases, and we retired here in Korea. With that, we do a lot on exercise and nutrition, and I've got a lot of experience of that in the military, where part of my job was to help train people in exercise and nutrition, the people who couldn't perform well on the Army physical fitness test, and those people that were overweight. So I received additional training in nutrition along with exercise, and I continued that on for quite some time. I lifted a number of years as I was in the military, on and off. I ended up, calisthenics, body weight exercises, weightlifting, sports, activities. I was in the infantry, and fast roping out of helicopters, road marches with 75 and 100 pound, 100 pound rucksacks. Of which the fastest time I did 12 miles in 2 hours and 7 minutes. And that might sound impressive, but there were 7 people in front of me. So that's when I went to Air Assault School. So with that, after I retired, health and fitness kind of took a backseat to everything else. And I let myself go. I had some medical injuries from the military. Thank you, Uncle Sam, along with the gift that keeps on giving. Excuse me, that's PTSD. Gotta love that stuff. But with that, I finally woke up and I got back into health and fitness. And then it did a 3-year process of where I went from 210 pounds to skinny fat to 263 pounds, packed on a lot of muscle, all natural. And that took just over 3 years. And then what I ended up doing is cutting down to 245 pounds, and that's where I'm at today. I got some visible abs, doing great, retired early, just digging into nutrition and exercise. And during my 3-year recomp process, what I did is I took all the information that I knew, and a lot of that was bro science, a lot of that was unverified facts. Some of them ended up just being flat out lies from the health and fitness world because of the testing of sports research scientists and people with PhDs of asking questions like, well, how long does it take for protein to synthesize? What is the best number of sets and reps for hypertrophy, for strength training, for power training, for, what are the strategies and techniques to get more muscle activation? So what I ended up doing was really testing everything that I had been taught and finding new information on science-based evidence with double-blind studies and the whole 9 yards, and found things that propelled me into a better condition quicker and faster than what I did before. So it was a great learning experience. Now, oftentimes when I bring up this information, some people get mad. And it's like, don't get mad at me. You're getting mad at the people who conducted the study, okay? Many times people who are old and set in their ways, or people who are young and set in their ways, there are those people as well, they'll do something that they were given or that they found out on the interwebs, and they think because they got some results, then thus it is the only way in which everybody else, it's the only metric in which everybody else can get superior results. And that is not the case. Matter of fact, an example of this would be diet or nutrition plans. So many times we see on social media, we see people talking about nutrition plans and carnivore and keto 2.0 and, the Atkins diet. And there's like 40 different types of diets. High carb, low protein, high fat, low fat, combination of all those things. And so there was a study that was conducted of asking, well, which one is efficient for fat loss, for losing body weight and bringing down that fat content in the body. So the researchers did double-blind studies on these 40 different types of nutritional diets, and I can't remember how long it took. It was quite a long time. But at the end, they concluded, and they had different groups, and all this stuff, and the amount of body fat that each of the groups lost, they were kind of asking the question, well, obviously there has to be one that has a more significant weight loss than others, and that's what they wanted to find out. So they did their tests, and at the end they found out that none of them stood out significantly above the others. In other words, all of those different plans, when they were carried out with a calorie deficit in conjunction with an exercise program, led to weight loss. None was better than the other. So really what the conclusion was is that your nutrition plan, or that nutrition plan, just has to come down to personal preference. So I know people that have tried vegan. I've tried vegan and it just didn't click with me. I've tried keto and I've tried that, and that just didn't click with me. But other people have tried keto, other people have done carnivore, and it just clicked. And so really, it's not that that nutrition plan is superior to others. It's just that it clicked with you, and according to science and the double-blind studies that they conducted, it really comes down to personal preference. So in other words, if the personal preference for one nutrition plan that you just don't like it, you don't like the foods, it's kind of bland and boring, then it's going to be bland and boring, and there's more chance of you not losing weight because you don't have that positive reinforcement through your nutrition plan. Whereas if you have something that really clicks with you in your nutrition plan, you're more apt to lose that weight and keep it off, according to the study that was within 6 months. That was the term of the study of how much body weight they could lose within 6 months. So there is no definitive, this plan is better than that plan. It's just personal preference, and some people like their plan better than some other plans. And so there is no significant difference. The other thing that's interesting is that people will look at, kind of like people like me, who my goal is to build muscle, get hypertrophy, work on strength. Those are the goals that I have. I also do cardio about 150 minutes a week. And I'm really trying to combat sarcopenia. And I had some injuries in the military that had some adverse effects on me. I've got multiple herniated and crushed discs in my back. I have chronic pain issues that I deal with. I have radiculopathy in both lower limbs. I have nerve damage. I have degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis because of the injuries, and so on and so forth. It is only going to get worse over time. I am also a candidate for spinal surgery, and that's how bad the pain has got. So we're trying to stave that off. But with those injuries, it had an adverse effect because half of my body wasn't being used because of the pain and the injuries that I had. So at one point, I was like up to a ½ inch difference in measurements of body parts. So if this arm was, 13.5 inches, this arm was 13 inches, so there was up to a ½ inch difference on one side of my body, and the right side of my body was smaller than my left side due to these injuries. I had a lot of overcompensation, had a lot of structural problems and mechanical problems that came into play. So there was that. So to overcome all these things was a very long road of health, nutrition, science-based evidence, facts of things that actually work, combined with some very incredible doctors and therapists to help me get over the injuries and the obstacles that I was facing. So with that, unfortunately, there are some people out there that don't like science-based facts. They like their little hyper, their hype and marketing thing of, oh, this is the next best thing to sliced bread, and they don't have any facts to back it up. So what they'll end up doing is that they'll poo on people kind of like me that will say that their nutrition plans, oh, you have a terrible, you just eat the same gruel. The slave restrictive diet is what one person said that I do and that I promote to people, and actually I don't. And we're going to kind of go over some of the nutrition plans that I have done, and to show you that your nutrition plan can be as boring or exciting as you want. Now, with that being said, a lot of people have come to me for training advice, for nutrition plans, for exercise routines, and I have freely given my time. It's not something that I sell, so I don't have a dog in this hunt when, bringing forth this information. I give it freely to help the community. Maybe someday in the far future, I'm in the process of writing a book right now of all these studies, the hundreds and hundreds of studies that I've written or have read and gleaned this information, have used it because obviously it works, and take that working information and the fact-based evidence, put it into my own routine, and put it into my wife's routine, put it into other people's routines, and to show them, hey, you can get the max results with the minimal amount of time to get the best version of you that you can be. Now, whether that's for hypertrophy, whether it's for strength training, power training, not so much on power training. I'm not a big power training, competitive lifter. I've done it, but it's just not a thing that I can do now. So I kind of set that aside. But I've done exercise routines for people who want to do free weights, who want to do machine weights, who want to do body weight exercises. And really, it's not that hard. If you want to work on your chest, you're going to do, say, like a barbell press or a dumbbell press or a machine chest press, or you're going to do push-ups, or you're going to do resistance bands where you're kind of pushing out in that motion. An exercise that works that muscle group can be done with all those different types of equipment or tools that you have at hand. So once you understand how the body works and the muscles that are being activated, really it's just matching up and saying, okay, well, this person doesn't like barbell bench, so we're going to do machine bench, or we're going to do resistance band bench, or body weight exercise, or whatever it is. And it's really quite simple. But when we get to nutrition plans, some people have said, it's... they throw shade and they're like, oh, to get in the condition and the fit condition that I'm in, you must have been a slave to a restrictive diet, and it's boring, it's not exciting, and that is nothing farther from the truth. I have never told anybody to go on a slave restrictive diet. So I find it interesting that some people have made that accusation. And what's interesting is I have never said slave restrictive diet. Now, if you're going to be on a calorie deficit, then you're going to have to reduce the amount of calories that you're going to eat by using a caloric and macro calculator so that you can lose the body fat. You're going to, have to get your steps in. You're going to have to get your cardio. Exercise can help with that endeavor. It's not necessary, but it will create a synergy in which you can maximize all these different tools to jumpstart and put your fat loss in turbo mode. Now, if you don't want to do that, I've also helped people that don't exercise at all and just put them into a calorie deficit and they lose weight. You don't have to exercise to lose weight, but it is very beneficial for the health benefits, for the muscle hypertrophy, for strength, for longevity, combating against sarcopenia, things like that. Cardiovascular is great, getting your cardio in for heart health. All of these things are looking for health, fitness, and longevity. But people have lost weight by just adjusting their nutrition plan and not even exercising. So it really comes down to these nutrition plans. And unfortunately, there's a lot of haters out there that are selling programs that are making some wild and fantastical claims. And because they don't have any fact-based evidence of their own, they will hurl accusations of saying, oh, you're on a slave restrictive diet all the time. And it's like, no, absolutely not. And so what we're going to end up doing is we're going to take a look at this. And I'm going to show you an example of some stuff. So here we are. This is a basic nutrition plan. And this is based off of 2,000 calories a day, around 2,000 calories a day, about 40% carbs, 40% protein, and 20% fats, which seems to work out really well. I have deviated from that at times to where the carbohydrates was like 45% and then keep the fats at 20% and then adjust the protein down into the 35%. And I've gotten some good results with that as well. But as we can see here, like a basic nutrition plan, oatmeal, protein powder, almond milk, blueberries, almonds, and we can see that ends up to be about 475 calories, depending on the ingredients that you use. Now, for me, I love oatmeal. I can eat oatmeal every single breakfast for the rest of my life. I love having the protein powder in there, the almond milk. I love the blueberries, the almonds. I can switch it out with bananas. For me, oatmeal, because of the taste, and that's what drives this nutrition train, is taste. I found, because I've done nutrition plans where I didn't like the food, and so I never really stuck to that nutrition plan. I always found myself doing that unscheduled eating, and the reason was because I didn't like the foods. So this might be something that other people find that they I don't know, they hire a personal trainer or they follow some kind of plan, the newest, greatest plan of somebody claiming that this nutrition plan is better than all others, and they end up eating foods that they don't like. There's a higher propensity for that person to not follow their nutrition plan if they eat foods that they don't like and don't enjoy versus the foods they do enjoy, as long as it fits within the plan. For me, I love the oatmeal. For lunch, we're looking at grilled chicken, brown rice, broccoli, olive oil. Excuse me. For a snack, we're looking at Greek yogurt, strawberries, protein powder. Dinner, we're looking at grilled chicken, quinoa, broccoli, olive oil. Snack, you're going to have rice cake, almond butter, protein powder. Again, I'm pretty high on the protein thing, but this is back when I was doing lower calories. And this is about 2,100 calories. And again, the breakdown in the carbohydrates and protein and fats. So what I would end up doing is I would do this meal, this one right here. Let me see if we can get back to the main screen. I would do that meal right there, and I would do it 7 days a week. So what I would end up doing, and the reason is because I love the taste of oatmeal. I like the grilled chicken. I like having it marinated. I like, having different seasonings. And so I love rice, and I'll switch it out with white rice, broccoli or other mixed vegetables. The snacks are pretty good. The dinner, again, I just love chicken. There are sometimes, when I would do a workout routine for 8 to 12 weeks, and I would do this exact same nutrition plan every day for 8 to 12 weeks. But I was still within my plan, and I love the food. So what's the big deal? But the thing is that I understand that there are some people out there that don't like doing the same meals every single day, that they don't like having the same breakfast every single day for 8 to 12 weeks or a week or, a month or whatever. And I totally get that. I would never, ever impress upon somebody and say, you have to eat like I do, otherwise you're going to fail. No, that makes absolutely no sense. If you hate oatmeal, then going on this plan here that we just talked about doesn't make any sense at all, because it's not a positive reinforcement, because you don't enjoy the food. I would never advocate giving somebody a nutrition plan or making them eat what I eat if they don't like what I like. It makes absolutely no sense, and no trainer worth their salt will do that. Okay, so just be aware of that. The other thing we're going to take a look at is I'll show you another difference, and that is a varied nutrition plan. So in this one here, what we end up seeing in this here, protein powder pancakes, banana, almond butter. In lunch, we're talking about a turkey avocado wrap with a whole wheat wrap, sliced turkey, avocado, mixed greens, throw some yogurt sauce in there, some seasoning. Snack, we're looking at Greek yogurt, blueberries, almonds. If you don't like blueberries, switch it out with something else. Grilled salmon, quinoa, steamed broccoli or other vegetables, asparagus or whatever. Snack 2, apple slices, cottage cheese, some dark chocolate with high phenols. I can't remember the word off the top of my head, but not the cheap chocolate. It's got to be some real good chocolate. And again, we're still following that 40% carb, 40% protein, and 20% fats. But you can have a wide variety. You could switch out the salmon with some other fish. You could switch it out with beef. You could switch it out with, I don't know, if you're into eating crickets, I mean, you could switch that stuff out. And if you really love crickets, then you could have a dinner of, crickets and, quinoa or whatever else. Maybe you like sweet potatoes. You could put that in there. There's so many different types of variations of nutrition plans. Now, there have been times where I've done a nutrition plan where I've had a different breakfast every single day of the week. Now, different lunch every single day of the week. There's nothing wrong with that. I have advocated that. If that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do that as long as it fits within your plan. Another one we're going to talk about is vegan. Some people think and have said, oh, you hate vegans and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, actually, that's not the case. I actually went on a vegan nutrition plan for 8 weeks to try it out, to see what it was like. And this is when I was doing my studying nutrition phase and looking at studies and looking at the benefits of different types of nutrition plans. And so, for example, I have a vegan smoothie. You can see, the banana, the almonds, the almond milk, butter, rolled oats, and so on and so forth. Chickpea salad, mixed vegetables, peppers, tahini dressing, hummus, carrots, lentils and vegetable stir fry, looking at lentils, brown rice, broccoli, carrots, snap peas, sesame oil, all of that, chia pudding, chia seeds, maple syrup, a little bit of almond milk in there, and again, still following the same carbohydrate plan for 40% protein, 20% fats, and that is still covered within this vegan plan. And I've done that. The only thing that I found with the vegan plan, especially when you start throwing in some vegan protein powder, is that vegan protein powder is way more expensive than whey protein powder or dairy-based protein powders. So, and just for the fact that you have to eat a lot more vegan or lentils or beans to match the amount of protein that you would with a regular protein plan or animal-based. The big difference is that with animal-based protein plans, you have more dense protein products of chicken, beef, and so on and so forth than you do with the vegan options. Not putting on vegan, but just making that realization that if you're going to do the vegan, you're going to have to eat more of those because they're not as protein dense. I've made protein plans for vegans, and it's quite a chore. But the great thing about this is that once you study and research and you can actually mix and match and say, well, hey, I really like this lentil dinner of lentils and stir fry. And so I'm going to put that into, some of the meals that I have with my regular nutrition plan. So again, it's all about mixing and matching and finding what's exciting and what you enjoy, and using food not only as a means to fuel your workout and your recovery, but also to use it as a positive reinforcement for your overall nutrition and health and fitness plan. So with that said, there's a lot of different things that you can end up doing here. Now, this other plan that I made up for an individual was a pescatarian. And pescatarians are people that only eat fish. And so doing a lot of study and research and checking out things like that, I ended up making up this plan. This is a sample of one of the days where it had smoked salmon, avocado toast for breakfast, poached egg, mixed berries. The other one was lunch with quinoa salad with shrimp, and you can see there with some cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, red onions, feta cheese. The snacks, you can see Greek yogurt, pineapple chunks, almonds. Dinner ended up being baked cod with sweet potato, steamed broccoli, olive oil, things like that. Snack was, rice cake, hummus, cherry tomatoes, tuna salad, things like that. And again, using that same 40-40-20 macro distribution. So personally, I'm not a pescatarian, but I've made plans for people who are pescatarians. And then I've had people that said, well, I want to make sure that I have this type of meal with this type of ingredient, 1 or 2 days a week. And it's like, okay, yeah, well, we can do that. So what's really interesting about health and fitness, when we talk about health and fitness and nutrition plans, excuse me, is they don't have to be boring. And for the nutrition plans that I've made up for people, and like I said, I'm retired, and so I help people every once in a while because I'm retired, and so I'm not locked down to any routine. I'm not selling any of this stuff. I help people, locally. I live near a military base, and so I've helped out soldiers and so on and so forth. And a number of people have contacted me. But the thing is, you don't have to have a boring nutrition plan. And I have never, ever advocated that anybody follow a slave restrictive diet or that you should only eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, and that's all that you should ever eat for eternity to get in healthy and fit and to build muscle. You don't need to do that. Now, I have advocated for myself, for the example, like I love oatmeal, so I could eat that for eternity. In perpetuity, I could eat that oatmeal breakfast every single day. It is something that I love and enjoy. So, but that's my own personal preference. I don't force my preference upon other people, especially when I make up their nutrition plans. If somebody hates oatmeal, it doesn't make sense to force them to eat oatmeal. Okay, it's a non-issue. It's non-negotiable. In my mind. Now, maybe there's some other personal trainers out there that do that and they know you must eat sweet potato, you must eat this. And it's like, if you run across a personal trainer that is forcing you to eat a certain type of food that you don't like, that cannot be replaced in order to get your protein or whatever, which I find that highly impossible. It's very improbable because there's always something out there that could be used in lieu of something else. But if some personal trainer out there, online personal trainer is forcing you to eat a certain food and will not make any changes to your nutrition plan, even though it's supposed to be a personalized, personal trainer that you hired, yeah, get another personal trainer. That just shows that the person is doing a cut and paste nutrition plan and they don't want to put in the work, and you're not really getting individual training or individual attention for you and your nutrition plan. If a personal trainer doesn't want to include foods that you like and take away the foods that you don't like, you need to get a new personal trainer. I mean, going to the gym is the easy part. The nutrition plan is the hardest part that I found. And for most of the people that come to me, and it's like, for example, I had a gentleman that come to me and said, hey, I'm having a problem losing weight. I'm 260 pounds. He should probably be about 175. He said, I tried different plans and different personal trainers, and they wanted me to eat this and this, and here's the copy that I tried, and then they circled the stuff that they don't like. And so I'm like, well, did you tell this trainer that you didn't like these certain foods? And he's like, oh yeah. He said, no, to lose weight, you have to eat these foods. And it's like, no, you don't. When people come to, and I find that just so mind-boggling, it shows me that they're not getting, that the personal trainer is not doing the work that they should and giving that personal attention to their clients. So with this guy, I said, hey, give me a list of the foods that you don't like, the foods that you're allergic to, that you don't like the taste, that the thought of them makes you want to throw up. Then give me a list of the foods that you do like. Kind of stay away from the processed foods if you can. But even then, we're still going to meet our daily caloric intake and our macro goals. And so they send me that list and boom, work on a nutrition plan. And kind of like what I've shown you here, there's a number of different meals that you can have that are very varied when it comes to taste, when it comes to content, but you're still going to meet all your goals. And so I gave this guy this plan, and I said, hey, he wanted a week's plan. And so I said, yeah, here's a week's plan. And I threw in a couple of extra meals in there showing, hey, if you like this, then you might like this, try this, switch this out. And the guy ended up getting back with me a little while ago, and he lost 50 pounds. So, and he says, I kind of went off the wagon a little bit, but I went right back onto the plan. And he switched out some of the foods with a couple of the other meals that I had because, he wanted some variety. And yeah, he's lost up to 50 pounds. So, your nutrition plan can be as boring or as exciting as you want. And so for people to say, oh, if you want to build muscle, you have to be on a boring plan, a slave restrictive diet with nothing interesting, with no taste and no substance and no variety, that's absolutely unequivocally untrue. I've, I love pasta with cream sauce, with oil spaghetti, with chicken, different types of cuisines, different, Korean barbecue. I mean, there's all types of different marinades and soups and stews that are here in Korea that is just, it is just awesome. But I use those in my nutrition plan, and so I stay on my plan. I've had French cuisine, I've had Vietnamese, I've had different Asian cuisines within my nutrition plan over the years for different types of meals. So for somebody to tell me and say, oh, you advocate a slave restrictive diet is so far from the truth, it's not even funny. But that's what happens when people don't like facts, when they don't like science-based evidence and facts that have been tested by researchers, that include testing of thousands of people and come to the conclusion of this is what this is in regards to health, fitness, exercise, hypertrophy, or strength. Then what they'll end up doing is they'll start making baseless accusations. So I bring this out because there's that side of the story. And then there's other people out there that might have a personal trainer that is forcing you to eat certain types of food that you don't like. Just realize you can eat the foods that you like as long as it fits within your plan. And so with that being said, how many times have we seen on social media on different fitness pages as somebody says, okay, well, hey, I've got this protein powder. Is this good? Or can I eat a Snickers bar? Or can I eat a hamburger? Or can I eat this or that or some other food item? And it's like you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits in your plan. How simple is that? And I've even gone so far as to instead of having cheat meals, so in other words, let's say you're on a nutrition plan and you're trying to lose body fat because you've got too much of it. So we want to get rid of some of the body fat. You're in a calorie deficit, but then you want a cheat meal. So a cheat meal, under the definition that I use, is that a meal that does not have accounted for calories. So in other words, you're going to treat yourself to some foods that are probably high in carbs, high in sugar, high in fats, probably not enough protein. Could be junk food, could be a burger, whatever. And it's like a cheat meal or multiple cheat meals on a day can kind of just cut the legs out from under you when you're trying to stay on a nutrition plan where you're trying to attain weight loss. With that, instead of having cheat meals with unaccounted calories, because most people can't estimate calories in meals and foods, and so they say, oh, well, I think this is okay. But it ends up, it's like the meal, they think it's like 500 calories or 600 calories. But then their cheat meal in actuality ends up being, over 1,000. It just shows that they can't estimate those things. So instead of doing that, having a cheat meal of unaccounted calories in, these meals, have a treat meal. Now, what is a treat meal? Treat meal is something that I found that came to me that I'm like, well, wait a second. I was having problems. And then it was like, I'm not making the progress that I want, but I still want to stay within my plan. So what can I do? And then I was like, what I'm going to do is I'll rob Peter to pay Paul. And it actually works. So in other words, what I'll end up doing, if I'm on a 2,000 calorie a day diet with 40% carbs, 40% protein, and 20% fats, what I'll do is I'll take some of those calories from some of the other days and some of those percentages, and I'll rob those. And so on my cheat meal, I could have a burger and fries, or I could have a chili dog and some fries, or something like that. So at the end of the week, I am still meeting my caloric deficit. I'm still meeting my macro goals for carbs, protein, and fats, but I'm not going over. But I'm just I'm just taking these calories and these carbs and this protein and this fat from these days and minimizing that a little bit, maybe over a couple of days, so that on my treat meal, that's when I consume those items. And on a weekly basis, I still stay within my nutritional goals. So that's what a treat meal is. A treat meal does not have unaccounted calories or unscheduled eating. It is all scheduled and according to plan. And I found that, and especially when it's with foods that you like and enjoy, then it's so much easier to stay on your plan. But if you have a nutrition plan that is boring and you're eating foods that you don't like, you're going to find it harder to lose that weight. You're going to find it harder to gain that muscle by consuming things that you don't like. Now, there are some food aversion things, and there are, if you need protein, then you need to eat protein sources. So if you don't like protein, that's a whole different ball of wax, but we're not talking about that. What I want to address and what I want to highlight is that your nutrition plan should be foods that you enjoy, because that's a positive reinforcement for fueling your workouts, more importantly, fueling your recovery and meeting your nutritional goals, whether it is for losing body fat, gaining muscle, or maintaining the physique that you have. So anyway, your nutrition plan can be as boring or exciting as you want. Okay? Don't let somebody dictate and make you eat something that you hate. Now, if you enjoy certain types of meals and you're kind of like me and you can have oatmeal, from here to eternity, then go run with that. Go ahead and do that. If you like eggs versus, the oatmeal, and do the egg thing, as long as it fits within your plan and you enjoy the food. Use the spices, try different cuisines from around the world, and you will find that your nutrition plan can not only help you attain your goals, but you can also enjoy the wonderful food and spices that we have today. So anyway, there was a number of people that have contacted me about nutrition plans and how their nutrition plan seemed really boring. And I was like, hey, but what foods do you like? Well, I like this and I like this and I like, butter chicken and I like, cream sauce pasta and whatever. And it's like, you can put that in your plan, right? You don't have to have this monastic, lifting lifestyle of chicken, rice, and broccoli 24/7 for the rest of your life. That's not what life is all about. So, unfortunately, this has come about at the time because people look at bodybuilders and they look at people who are natural or supplemented bodybuilders of eating the same time, and they have gotten to a place of where they eat for the reason of fueling their body. It's kind of like putting gas in the car. They don't want any variety. They just want to have a consistent fueling process of certain foods and this and that, and they don't care about variety. Well, to kind of clue you in, the majority of people in the world like variety, and you can meet your fitness goals with a varied nutrition plan that with all kinds of great tasting foods. You don't have to have that bodybuilder type of nutrition plan. So anyway, I hope this clears this up, and I hope this helps some people out there that have gotten into health and fitness where the nutrition plan is kind of a stumbling block because it's like, I don't like this and I don't like that, but that's what my trainer has me eating. There are different substitutions that you can have. And like we showed, you can have a basic plan, you can work on meat and dairy-based products, you can have fish, you can have vegan, you can intermingle all of those things together to make a nutrition plan that is just kick-ass. So don't feel cornered in to just one thing. So anyway, with that being said, put some comments in the comment section down below in regards to nutrition plans and what are the big aha moments for nutrition plans that hit you that just made so much sense that you're like, why didn't I think of this before? Put those in the comments down below as well. All right, well, I'm going to finish up my latte, which is included in my nutrition plan, and we will see you on the next video. Peace. Variety is the spice of life.